Today, the 5th day of the month of Menachem Av, the Yartzeit, the Hilula of the ARI, the most celebrated Kabbalists of all times. Passed away in the year 1572 at the early age of 38. Yet, in his short life, he revolutionized Jewish life, catalyzing a spiritual revival that spurred the Hasidic movement and forever elevated Jewish life in spirituality. What do we know about him? So, before I'm going to share a few facts, let us thank God for all the miracles. But in teachings of the Arizal, that in the morning before we start the prayers, we should recite and take upon ourselves the mitzvah of loving your fellow Jew by saying, Hareini mekabel olai mitzvah saseh shel v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. So before we start praying, we tell God, God, I love all your children. So before saying Mizmor L'Soida, let's also say to God, God, I love you and I love all your children. Mizmor L'Soida, Rila den Kolot, Im du Sadene Besimcha Boile von Ben Nono. Du kadenu elimu Osane V'lo Nachna V'tzay Marisa Boisho V'Soida Chatzroise V'Sila Hoide L'Bachu Shmoy Kitoi V'Adenu L'Elam Chazdo V'Yadoi V'Dor Emuna. So let's give some tzedakah with a prayer, especially such a holy special day. But the outside is the day where his light is shining, so may in his merit save all the soldiers, bring home all the hostages, and more than anything else, which was his quest, his desire, his goal of having the Geula right now. So may this happen today. So, Rabbi Yitzchak Lori, known as Rabbi Yitzchak, born, his father's name Rabbi Shlomo, was a descendant of Rashi, the great teacher, the great commentary on Chumash, on Talmud, on every whole Torah, the basic teacher, Rabban Shel Yisrael, the teacher of all the Jewish people. Rabbi Yitzchak, the Arizal, was a descendant of, as I said, from Rashi. His father was, name was Shlomo. Unfortunately, passed away at a young age when his son was only 8 years old. So the father was from Ashkenaz background, but his mother was from Sephardi background. And in fact, when he was orphaned, it's his uncle, by the name of, Rabbi Mordechai Francis of Alexandria, who actually raised him and taught him. The name Ari Zal, Ari, which means lion, but is also the acronym for Elokei Rabbi Yitzchak, the godly Rabbi Yitzchak, because he was certainly not your average human being and not your average tzaddik. He was beyond all that. In fact, he's also called Ari HaKadosh, the Holy One. He's also called Ari HACHAII, the one who's alive. Just like we find by Yaakov Avinu, the same concept is applied also to him. So while he was in Egypt, he studied under the teachings of the Rabbi Tzalel Ashkenazi, and also under a Spanish-born great tzaddik and scholar, Rabbi David ibn Zimra, known as the Radvaz. But mostly he learned by himself. There are some documents that indicate that actually while in Egypt he was a businessman, so as not to benefit from his learning, so he earned a living by dealing apparently in spices. In 1570, he returned to Eretz Yisrael and he settled with his wife and 2 daughters in Tzfat. He only lived in Tzfat for 2 years, but those were pivotal years where transformed the course of history. From there he was really teaching his Kabbalistic teachings, which is focusing on the essence of God, the essence of the world, the essence of the Jew, the essence of every mitzvah, indicating and teaching the importance of every minute detail, because in essence, there is no size or quantity. It's the infinite, and that's what Kabbalah focuses on. In fact, there are very few writings of his. All that we have, his writings, is recorded by his faithful student, Reb Chaim Vital, who compiled it into Kisvei HaArizal, the writings of Arizal, but it was actually the teachings of the Arizal. What we do have from him is different songs that we sing on Shabbat, Asader L'Sodoso, Azame Bishvachin. By the way, Asad al-Sedasa, which is actually based on his name, Ani Yitzchak Luri, which is composed in Aramaic. He used to have a custom on Friday nights to take his student out into the field and there to welcome the Shabbat by reciting the Lechadodi, which was composed by another great of Tzfat, Rabbi Shlomo el-Kabbatz, and also introducing certain psalms, which until today is what we say, L'chun Ranana, etc. As I said, he lived a very short period of life, but his life affected us forever. And we certainly hope that today, the 5th day of Menachem Av, we should see him with Mashiach in the Beis HaMikdash.